Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, class 4. Here's your favorite novel, The Prince and the Pauper. Today I'm starting chapter number 6, Handen and the Prince. All of you please open your novel. Take out page number 27. Please listen this reading attentively and sit quietly. Please follow me. London Bridge. Meanwhile, Miles Handen was leading the prince through the narrow streets towards the river. As they ran, they heard people talking. The news of the king's death had travelled quickly through the city. "The king is dead." Edward's eyes filled with tears as he thought about his father. King Henry VIII was hard and cruel towards many people, but to his little son he was always kind and gentle, and the prince loved him dearly. His eyes filled with tears and he felt very sad and alone. "So I am the king now," he thought, "and an impostor is in my place." They reached London Bridge, which was more like a town than a bridge. It had shops, markets, inns, where travellers could have a drink or stay the night. Next page, class. And even a church. As Handen and the prince came towards the inn on the bridge where the young man was staying, a rough voice shouted, "So here you are. You won't escape again." And John Canty put out his hand to seize Edward. "Not so fast," said Miles Handen. "What do you want with the boy? He is my son, and I'm going to beat him until my arms are tired." "That's a lie," said Edward hotly. "I believe you, boy," said Handen. "We'll see about that," shouted Canty. "If you touch this boy, I'll cut you into little pieces," said Handen sweetly. He showed Canty his sword. "I saved this boy from an angry crowd in the Guildhall, and I'm not going to let you hurt him, even if he is your son, which I don't believe. I'm not going to leave him with you. Now go, before I get really angry." Then Canty disappeared into the darkness, and Handen led Edward into the inn and upstairs to his room. Next heading. At the inn. Handen's room at the inn was a small, cheap one at the top of the house. The furniture was poor and cheap. Only a bed, a broken chair, a small cupboard, and a washstand in the corner. But the bed was clean and comfortable, and Edward lay down at once. "Please call me when dinner is ready," he said. Handen smiled. "Poor mad boy," he said to himself. "He looks like a pauper, but he behaves like a prince. Well, I will be his friend. I will take him home with me to Hannenhall. If my father is still alive, he will be kind to him. He needs rest and good food. Then he will soon be well again." Next page, class. This is Hannenhall. A servant brought their supper. Miles woke Edward gently. The boy went at once to the washstand in the corner and stood there. "What's the matter?" asked Handen. "I want to wash before supper." "Go in then. You're welcome." Pour the water, please, and hurry up," said the boy impatiently. Handen smiled as he poured the water. The boy washed his hands and face. "Give me the towel. Be quick," he said. Handen handed him the towel, and the boy dried himself. When he had finished, Handen washed his own hands and face. The boy now sat down at the table. "You may serve me now," he said to Handen. Smiling a little, Handen put food on the boy's plate. Then he filled his own plate and sat down. The boy stared at him in surprise. No, you mustn't sit down," I am the king. You must stand. Nobody is allowed to sit down in the king's presence. Don't you know anything? Smiling patiently. Handon stood behind the boy's ear. You are a brave man, said the boy, although you do not know how to behave when you are in the presence of a king. Where do you come from? Next heading, please. Miles Handon's story. From Handon Hall, began Handon. From Handon Hall, my lord, the boy corrected him gently. Well, thought Handon, I must be patient with him. Aloud he said, Sorry, my lord. My father is Sir Richard Handon. He is rich and powerful, and kind-hearted too. My mother died when my two brothers and I were young. My brother Arthur is the eldest. He also has a good and kind heart like our father. Hugh, next page please. Hugh, the youngest brother, is cruel and greedy. Well, my cousin Edith lived with us. She was the daughter of a rich lord and lady who died when she was a baby. Edith and I loved each other, but my father wanted her to marry Arthur. But my brother Arthur was in love with another girl, and he wanted Edith and me to marry. Meanwhile, Hugh was in love too. He was not in love with Edith herself. He was in love with her money and her land. Again and again he begged my father to let him marry her. My father loved Hugh best of all. He found it difficult to refuse him anything. But I was wild and foolish in those days, and my father was often angry with me. Well, Hugh told lies to my father about me. My father believed him, and he sent me away to join the army. I fought bravely in France, but I was taken prisoner. I have spent 7 years in a French prison. I escaped at last. I have just arrived in England. And that is my story. Sir Miles Handon, next heading. What a sad story, said the boy. Now I will tell you mine. He poured out his story to Handon. He told him about the young beggar and the soldier and the cruel boys of Christ's Church. He told him all about his adventures in Fish Street and wicked John Canty. He finished. You have lost your home and your wife, but I have lost my name. An impostor has taken my name, and they will crown him king unless I can stop them. Poor mad child, said Handon to himself. You have saved my life, Edward finished, and I will give you a reward. What would you like? I am the king, and and my command is law. Ask Miles Handon. Next page. Handon did not want to hurt his friend's feelings. My lord, he said, I would like to sit down to eat with you. Very well, you may sit. From today, you and your children and your children's children may sit when they are in the presence of the king. And I will do better than that for you. Down on your knees, Miles Handon. Handon knelt. What nonsense is this? He said to himself. Edward picked up Handon's sword and touched his new friend lightly on the shoulder. Get up, Sir Miles Handon, he said proudly. Dear boy, thought Handon. He behaves like a prince, although he looks like a pauper. Now undress me, Sir Miles, said the boy. I want to go to sleep, and you must sleep on the floor in front of the door and guard me from danger. Oh well, thought Handon, after 7 years in prison, I can spend one night on the floor, and I'm glad I don't have to stand in his presence. Next page, class. Early next morning, Hendon left the boy asleep and went to buy clothes for his friend. Half an hour later, he had bought everything he wanted. They were old clothes but warm and good. Hendon was pleased with them. I didn't have enough money for new ones, he said to himself, but these are better than those old rags. I have got enough money to buy a horse for me and a donkey for the boy. Then we can ride together to Hendon Hall. When Hendon returned to the inn with the clothes, he was riding a tired old horse and leading a small grey donkey. He left them in the stable with the other animals. He ran upstairs to his room, but the boy had disappeared. Hendon shouted for the servants. "What have you done with the boy?" "Sir, a young man came and said that you had sent him. He said that you wanted the boy. So I woke the boy, and he and the young man went away together to find you." Hendon at once thought of John Canty. Was the young man alone? He asked the servant. He picked him up and shook him like a rat. "Quick, it's important." "Sir, the young man came here alone, but when he and your friend were leaving the inn together, I saw a big, strong man standing at the corner of the street. He was watching them." "So I was right," said Hendon to himself. "That man sent a messenger to the inn because he knew that the boy would never go with him. I must save my friend," he thought. He followed the messenger because he thought I was asking for him, and now I must save himself. Yes, class, this is the end of chapter number 6. Thank you for listening.